Hey guys, calling back for another video this week, and I wanted to wish you all a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, or whatever holiday you happen to be celebrating this time of year. Um, this is kind of the holiday season, so I wanted to share one of my Christmas albums out of my collection. I don't have a lot of Christmas albums, but I have a few, and one of them I'm going to show you today, or the one that I'm going to show you today, is the 25th of December with Bobby Darin. Now, this came out in 1960, so this is a pretty old album. It's older than me. It's 57, 58 years old, somewhere around in there. And I've had this record for about, 10 years, I guess. And I only play it once a year, which is around now. Now, Bobby Darin, you all might know him. He had a million-selling hit right around this time, and it was called Splish Splash. It was a million-selling single, and he also had the hits Mac the Knife and Somewhere Beyond the Sea, or Beyond the Sea. There's a good movie out that's been out for quite a few years now. It's called Beyond the Sea with Kevin Spacey. I highly recommend you go watch that movie. It tells a pretty good story of his life. He kind of died at a young age of 37. I guess he was kind of sickly all the time. And he died from a heart problem, which is something we all have to watch for in our lives when we get older. But he was pretty young when he passed away. Now, a top song from around that time was the theme from A Summer Place by Percy Faith. I take it that's a movie, A Summer Place. This is another one I've never seen before. And I don't even hardly know who Percy Faith is, even though I've heard that name, and I'm pretty sure I've probably heard his song. A couple of the movies that were out then was a movie called The Alamo and G.I. Blues with the old king himself, Elvis Presley. A big dance was introduced around then by Chubby Checker, and we all know that as the twist. And it was a dance that you could do by yourself or with somebody else. I don't know why it mentioned that in the trivia section I was looking at on my phone, but it did. When you can pretty much do any dance by yourself. But I guess if you're saying you're doing the twist by yourself, it's okay. A couple of quotes was Smile, you're on Candid Camera. Candid Camera was still on when I was a kid. I remember watching it. I can't remember the host's name, but that show had been on for years, I think, by the time I started watching it. And it probably ended about when I was a kid, about that time in the, I would say the 70s. And a board game, the modern version of Life was introduced in 1960. Now that's the modern version. Now the original version dates back all the way to 1860, which is another fact that I did not know. And the Game of Life, I haven't played that yet, but I see it all the time in the stores. It's still around to this day. I guess it's a game where you're basically living life, and it throws different things that you like. You might have kids. Well, just basically everything. Every day having kids, you get a car, you get a job, and you get paid for it. And I'm not too sure about that one. If you know, we're all living that game of life every day. And that's about it on that, on the record and on the games that were introduced then, or a game. But I wanted to show you a game that we've been playing here recently, another one. I'm getting quite a collection going. With, my new obsession, I guess. But that's a game called Ticket to Ride. Now, this is a great family game, even for a beginner player. I would say if you're just getting into board games, you should pick this one up. You can find it all over the place at Walmart, Target, the big stores. And it is a fun gateway type of game. Now, it did win the Spiel des Jahres in 2004, which is probably the biggest award that, well, it is the biggest award that a game could win for being a great game. And that they have that every year in Germany, which is where a lot of the best games are originating and coming out from. But this one was put out by Days of Wonder, I guess around this time, 2003, 2004. And this is a train type game where you're trying to collect train cars and cards. And I'm just going to read a little bit of the back of this. Ticket to Ride is a cross-country train adventure. Players collect cards of various types of train cars that enable them to claim railway routes connecting cities throughout North America. The longer the routes, the more points they earn. Additional points come to those who can fulfill their destination tickets by connecting two distant cities, and to the player who builds the longest continuous railway. So climb aboard for some railroading fun and adventure. And this is quite an adventure. It took us, I would say, 20 to 30 minutes to figure out the rules and everything. And then we started playing, and as we went along, it kind of started, okay, this is what we do now. And it started to be a very fun game. And we usually have two players. It's me and my girlfriend, Connie. And that's my game partner. And my partner. But Ticket to Ride, I highly recommend this for you guys out there to give as gifts or just get for yourself. And here's a little bit. It's got a huge game board that comes with it, and I'm sorry for that. They hit the old computer there. And here's a partial. This is the game folded up. I don't want to fold it out because it's too big. And here's the train systems here, the tracks. Now in the game, there's no dice involved. It's more of a card game and card collecting and placing your little trains along these railways. See here, there's 6 yellow train cars, which are represented here. And what you're trying to do is collect 6 yellow train cars, which are on cards. And once you get your 6 train cars, yellow ones, which you're trying to get out of the deck, then you can place your trains along this track and claim that as one of your routes, and you get points. And the more of these you get, the more points you get. And if you get a big long route, it's even more points. And that's kind of a short description of the game itself, which is all I'm going to do here, because there's plenty of if you go search for a Ticket to Ride board game, you will find plenty of reviews and people that show you how to play it, and even groups playing through the game itself here on the YT. And that's my video for today. Thanks for dropping in. Happy holidays. I don't know if I'll have another video out until afterwards. And thank you. Thanks a lot for watching. Colin over and out. Weirdos unite. And play some board games. Thanks.